Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we're actually talking about Facebook because Facebook wants your thoughts and prayers. I'm not kidding, hallelujah, here is what's going on, and this is coming from Gizmodo. Now, Facebook's new way basically to capitalize on you is thoughts and prayers and data from the religious side of its users' database. This past Thursday, meaning about a week ago or so, the company confirmed that it's begun expanding a new feature called quote unquote prayer posts that will let members of a particular Facebook group literally ask for and offer up prayers for other folks on the platform. A Facebook spokesperson confirmed that this feature has been tested over the past year before quietly rolling it out to the masses over the last few months. Now, back in April, Robert Jones, who runs basically Public Religion Research Institute in Washington, D.C., was one of the first public faces to actually ask the company what on earth that these posts were actually doing. What are they? Now, his question wasn't picked up by the mainstream media for the most part, but more than a few religious-facing news wires jumped on this story and got Facebook to confirm that prayer posts were indeed being tested on a select few groups. Essentially, though, the company would not elaborate on which groups they were. Odds are they're probably going to be users that are religious or identifying as such. Now, at the time, Nona Jones, who has the really interesting role of leading the quote-unquote global faith partnerships for Facebook, told one of these religious outlets that the idea for prayer posts stemmed from the need to quote-unquote build community with users over the course of the pandemic. It's not a coincidence that Jones was seeing this post in the lead up to Easter when churches were expecting to see their attendance basically cut into fractions because of COVID. Now, and I quote, "During the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen many faith and spirituality communities using our services to connect, so we're starting to explore new tools to support them." Also, they added that the feature first debuted in select groups in the United States in order to, quote, give people the option of requesting prayer from their Facebook group if they so choose. Now, the company did not answer questions about whether any of this data would be delivered basically to advertisers for targeted ads and all of that based on the user's prayer habits and all of that. So that's obviously an issue. Now, here's how this works. When a group administrator opts into using the feature, members just drop prayer requests into the group and then others can flock over and basically hit the pray button to notify the poster that their request has been prayed for. It's definitely something, but like the majority of Facebook's design, it's a concept that feels kind of cold and clinical and a tad bizarre. And that's, I think, true. That was written in Gizmodo, and that does seem odd to me in that sense. I don't necessarily know if it's cold or clinical, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. Now, this basically is the company that puts profits before everything else. I totally agree with that. And so they have found ways in the past to even turn the smallest bit of information on the platform into data that they can monetize. And if prayers are something that are deeply personal to the users posting them at the end of the day, this basically just still is a point of data to them, and they have zero problems whatsoever sharing this out. And I think that is the core of what we have here. That cold and clinical is the data side of things. To be perfectly honest, I think anytime Saturday Night Live has one of their actors impersonate Mark Zuckerberg, I think they do a really good job of turning him into this robot that pretends to be a human. And that's essentially what we're seeing. We're talking about a platform that is led with somebody that can demonstrably be said and shown to have basically no empathy. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care if you have no religion. That is completely your business. Here in the United States, we have the freedom of religion. It's written into our Constitution. And, as the fictional character Ron Swanson would say, I belong to the church of none of your damn business, and I think that's very pervasive here in the United States. But what we have, though, is a population that is essentially not educated into just the depths of how much a Facebook and other social media platforms will essentially data mine them for monetary purposes. Meaning, this could basically have a burgeoning industry of essentially religious institutions or manufacturers or something like that would basically see this and say, oh, this person is a Catholic, a Baptist, a Buddhist, a whatever, and suddenly you're starting to get advertising from that organization that is manufacturing that specific Catholic or Baptist or Buddhist or Jewish or whatever trinket, and now here we go. This is what we're talking about. Not to mention, as the article states, this is a deeply personal thing for a lot of individuals, and those people that truly believe obviously want their prayers heard and all that kind of stuff. And so for Facebook to go ahead and data mine this in that way, and I have zero doubt whatsoever that we will find that out, in the future or whatever. And they've been silent on this, so they're not saying one way or the other. But history has proven that is essentially going to be the case. I think that's pretty shameful, because you're going to have a lot of older religious people, especially in those older generations like boomer and silent generations, that are not really going to understand the scope of this. They think that they're doing a mitzvah, in their Facebook group by praying for somebody and all of that, when all Facebook is doing is capitalizing on that and then monetizing that and then sending them advertisements for things. Already many of these people are on a fixed income. I feel like this could be potentially a predatory thing above and beyond the already predatory nature of Facebook, and it's very interesting. Now, you may not even check the box on Facebook to basically give them no information. A lot of people, kind of understanding the basic privacy of this, will say, I'm not going to give them my real birth date or my real hometown. I'm not going to list a phone number or if I'm married or single, or if I'm religious or not, or whatever that is, or my hobbies or my interests. But Facebook is always data mining you. So when you join a group, that says, prayer warriors for XYZ, now they know every single post that you're putting on there. They understand that while you're not specifying or checking the box for religious, that you indeed are. And those are some of the things that people don't necessarily realize. Every single thing you do. Oh, I just saw the latest X movie there. I don't know, Transformers. First one in my top of my head because it ruined my childhood. Thank you, Michael Bay. Now they know I'm a Transformers fan because I'm watching the Transformer movies, or I'm commenting on it. Or if I think the new Transformer movie sucks, then maybe they know that's not my thing. Everything we do is being basically tracked, ingested, analyzed, and sold to advertisers on Facebook. And if you have any modicum of understanding of privacy on there, you're not going to do things like put your medical history. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen on Facebook somebody says, well, I'm going in for surgery, or my last round of chemo, or whatever. And I understand the need to have that social group that you can't physically see basically come at you and say, I support you, this is great, you can get through it, all that kind of stuff. I'm not knocking anybody for that, but understand that now they have something that they shouldn't, and they will take that and they will advertise that to you. You start seeing, because you posted you're going through chemo, advertisements for wigs and medications and stuff like that. That is Facebook data mining you. That's a deeply personal thing. And religion, to many people, is a deeply personal thing. And do you want a platform that is known basically for zero privacy and data mining the bejesus out of you to actually know that about you as well? So I think this is a bad idea, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not knocking anybody for their faith. I don't care what you believe. It's none of my business. It's completely yours. Vice versa on that one. And so I think that's something that we really need to address. And I think it's something that Facebook really has to answer to. And if the only ones that are talking about it are Gizmodo and a whole bunch of religious-centric news items, then I want to know where everybody is on the mainstream media, from NBC to ABC to Fox News to CNN to MSNBC, talking about this, as well as we're about to see possible violations of privacy for millions, if not billions, of people around the globe. And that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where you will be data mined. And please feel free to follow me on YouTube as well. Excuse me, and as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, everyone.